Welcome to the Predictive Playbooks powered by Sportsmemo.com and WagerTalk.com. I am your host, John Ryan, and I am pleased to have in the house Don Buster. He is a resident guru expert in the NHL. He's a guy that I personally tailed some of his picks when he was running scorching hot, and they all came through for me. So at some point, I'm going to have to get on a plane and give him a nice gift here during the summer. And I'm sure he'd probably accept a bottle of tequila. I have to find out what he likes. But Buster, welcome to the show. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing fine. Everything's been. I actually had the Islanders in the series, not for like I had
awesome.
Plus 1.5 games, so that one already. And the hockey has been. It was rough a bit at the first part of the playoffs, but I'm really starting to pick that up now, and we're going to talk about that Colorado Vegas game. I see that you got a nice little background with that Colorado Vegas. I like that, and I noticed, John, that you've been doing pretty hot in the NBA. I see that you won. Congratulations on your 5% win last night. Mind you, it looked like it was in the bank right at the I think there's like 94, 95 points at the half, and then. I think you had to sweat it out a bit, but hey, a win's a win, as they say.
Yeah, I usually adopt the Tony Finn strategy. When you're up that big, you go to bed because you don't want to see anything but a win the next morning. And if it's not, you don't have to go through the pain.
Yeah, that's
but I stayed awake because that was getting pretty hairy there at the end. I mean, I don't know why Phoenix was trying to rub it in their face, especially
send a message.
I guess with. Yeah, they were still running plays with a minute and a half to go and a 24-point lead.
Yeah, it was
so. I figured that they all knew that I had the under as a 5% play. That's my fifth one in a row.
That's excellent.
We're nailing. We're running at about 89% right now. 8-1. Last three NBA playoff seasons are 69% combined. Each season actually was either 67, 68, or 69. And now with this run, it's gone up just a bit over that 4-year period. So yeah, I appreciate you noticing that. It's nice to be noticed. And I know for a fact, because I'm the host and I like your style, I like your plays, that you have a big one going tonight. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, you know what, John, I actually have been running pretty hot in NBA myself. I actually have lost my last 2 plays and I'm still 19-6 in the playoffs. So I have a 5%er up tonight. Get it at sportsmemo.com. And we're actually, and after losing those 2, I'm even more looking for this 5% one because we really love it. We got a great analysis for it, and looking to go to 20-6 in the NBA playoffs. So
that's awesome.
Between the two of us, I tell you, we've been doing some damage, which is what we're here for to do. And it's nice because we both know how this game is very humble. You've done this long enough. Those 19-6 streaks, sometimes they can turn around on you 3 months down the road. And then when you can't, you look and you're like, I'm doing everything the same way I done it. But you know what? You can't be always too happy about it, and you can't be too sad when you're on the losing part.
That's exactly right.
John, we both know it's a grind. And like I said, I probably said this both shows I've been on with you. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, so far the month of June has been was good right at first. I lost yesterday. So we'll try to get back on track tonight.
Yeah, this is the time to buy him, by the way. I'm a Wall Street guy, and you want to buy the dip. When somebody's really hot, they're probably going to have a little lull there. They're going to chop around for a week, probably even wins and losses before the next winning wave occurs. But when you get a guy like this that's on a 2-game losing streak, and you won't hear this on many shows, guys, but I know from my experience, a man like Buster with his experience on a win streak coming off 2 losses does not end the winning streak. In fact, this is the time to get on him. So make sure you get over there and get his play and have some fun with it. So let's get into the – oh, you bet, man. My pleasure. Let's get into the hockey here. And it's Thursday, June the 10th, 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. This will be televised on NBC Sports Network. We have the Colorado Avalanche, which, I'm not a hockey guy. I thought that series was pretty much just about over. It shows what I know. And they're visiting the Golden Knights of Las Vegas. Las Vegas is 40-14-2. Avalanche 39-13-4. First two games, it looked like Avalanche were just going to cruise. And then, at least in my opinion, in my analysis of the following games, the Knights have just dominated. I mean, the final scores don't even indicate how dominating it's been. So tonight we have Vegas favored only as a -135 on the money line, which seems pretty cheap to me, but I don't know. Over-under is 5.5. What do you think's going to happen tonight, Buster?
Well, I tell you, John, this is I'm really looking forward to this game tonight. It's been a really good series, close series, and you're right. Colorado came out, won the first two games, and I've reminded people on other shows I've been on, but you have to remember Colorado was actually up with 2-1 with maybe 4 or 5 minutes left in Game 3. They could have been up 3-0. They lose that game. Then they get killed in Game 4 in Vegas. They didn't even show up. And then they lose a 2-0 lead in the third period last game and lose in overtime. So Colorado is no doubt a bit shell-shocked, I would think. And now going back home to Vegas, where Vegas and that crowd in Vegas, which is a great place to go watch a game. I've mentioned this before here. Everybody, when you go to Vegas, do yourself a favor. Even if you don't like hockey, go to a Vegas Knights hockey game. Fantastic. For me here, I've actually gave out a play. This is a play I've released to my clients, and I'm being on the show, John. I'm going to release it here for the people that are watching, for your viewers. We're going to go, and we've played this about 3 times, and we're 1-2 with this play, but we are going to take the over tonight, over 5.5. You're getting plus money in this game. And a few reasons why. It's an elimination game. Colorado cannot play the way they've been playing and win this game. Vegas is too good defensively, and so is Colorado. They're both good defensive clubs. But Colorado knows they've just lost, the last 2 games and haven't really been scoring. They're McKinnon and Rantanen. These guys got to show up tonight. And I think they have to play that a little bit wide open. Now, doing that against Vegas could be costly because they're so good on the counterattack. You saw what happened in Game 5, where a couple of Colorado mistakes tied the game up 2-2, and now you're in overtime, and overtime's a crapshoot, more or less. So this game could be easily 3-1 and get to 5-2 in a hurry, especially with the empty netters and that. But I believe Colorado's going to show up. I don't know if they can win this game, but I do really like the over here, so I'm going to just enjoy the game and hope for a bunch of goals, like a 4-3, 5-4 final would be right up my alley.
Yeah, I was on Colorado in that 2-0, and then woke up the next morning and go, what? Yeah. Like, that really was shocking. But then it wakes you up to how strong Vegas is playing. And to your point, I guess what you're saying is there's not enough time really for the coaching staff to make the necessary adjustments for the Avalanche to be able to really go head-to-head in this matchup tonight. So, again, that money line at -135 looks just extraordinarily cheap.
For a home team for Vegas, it might be, but these teams are so close. And well, you know me, John. I won't bet Colorado, but I don't like laying a lot of juice. And even though it's 135 is cheap, but between these two clubs and Colorado, I mean, and we talk about it all the time. Like even yesterday when Boston was playing against the Islanders, was Boston going to bring that pride and show up? But what ended up happening, Boston played really well, but the Islanders counterattacked them enough, and the Islanders win that game, and it went over. I also gave my clients the over because it was an elimination game as well yesterday. These elimination games, back in the day, Game 7s you could almost count on. It was a 1-0, 2-1 game.
Sure.
Now as we have, the offensive is a little bit more in some with offensive teams like Colorado and Vegas. I just like any elimination games, just like them over. The last probably 2-3 years, I've bet them over elimination games. And like I said, you could easily have a 3-1 score in the third period, quick goal, 3-2. And they're pulling the goalie for 2 more. We don't have to get it over. I've said for years, and people that are customers of mine, they know. I always say 6 is an easy number to get to in the NHL, and I think you'll see that tonight.
Yeah, I love that play, really do, because I think you're absolutely right. You get 2 empty netters at the end. or you tie it up at 3-3, and then you just simply enjoy the overtime period until somebody scores. But at 6, you're a winner.
Yeah, I actually really like Colorado just to open it up right from the get-go, because if they play defensive tonight, if they play the way they've been playing, and it's a 0-0 after the first period, they're going to be done. They need to come out, but because Vegas and the crowd, they're going to DeBoer has to get his team to play, and he hasn't been able to. He's got to get to go all out. Makar's going to be up as a fourth forward the whole night. They have to play offensively like that, because they can't beat Vegas at their game. You've seen it. I don't believe that they can beat Vegas at their game, and Vegas is a very good team. So again, I don't really want any part of either side tonight, but I think you're going to see goals in an elimination game.
So it seems like you're saying too, if Colorado scores first, that really bodes well then for the over.
I believe so, for sure.
Yeah, that'll give me some in-game betting to do, which I love.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Let's move over to a similar sport. Actually, it's a different type of stick, and it's not a puck but a ball. And Buster does real well in the PGA Tour. And if you ever watch Manny's Pub, you know how sickening it can get listening to me talk about Phil Mickelson at Kiowa. And I'm just one of those guys. I think I just like the sport too much. So. This is an interesting venue because it was supposed to be the RBC Classic Canadian Open.
Correct.
But because of the border, we can't get there. They created this Palmetto Championship in South Carolina. And, kind of a similar typical South Carolina course. It's not Kiowa, but it kind of has a feel like Kiowa, but without the wind. And there's really nobody there simply because the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines starts next Thursday. We have Dustin Johnson, world number 1, trying to tune in his game, which I questioned right away. But he also lives in South Carolina, born and raised there. So that makes sense. Brooks Koepka, he's there. And I think he's probably testing out that knee, making sure everything's good to go before he does travel over to Torrey Pines. But a real quick story for you, Buster, and I love this. John Pack is making his pro debut, and that's PAK. He was the PGA U Player of the Year for NCAA Collegiate Golf. He was set to receive his award from Jack Nicklaus, which is the Jack Nicklaus Trophy, from Jack at Muirfield Village at the Memorial Tournament, which was this past weekend.
Right.
Wouldn't you know, the young man didn't have any transportation to get there. Being a this is all true. Being a Florida State alum, his coach contacted Brooks Koepka, who was also a Florida State alum. And wouldn't you know it, Brooks let him borrow his jet, and he got his trophy. I think that's ridiculous.
That's great. That's great. I never read that story, John. So that's interesting. That's good for Brooks to do that. That's good. I'm pretty impressed with that. Actually, like I said, I didn't read that story at all. Never heard about that. So
I thought that was pretty cool.
Story. Yeah, the course they're playing now, and I agree with you. Just with Dustin Johnson and Brooks has got that knee problem, so I believe that's why he's gonna go out and play. But I see Dustin's playing really well too. I actually thought they were both, I think, was 8-1 or maybe 9-1 to win the whole thing. I figured they were just an automatic throw, because I figured they were just going to, like you say, tune up their game. But looks like Johnson's had a good round today. So I'm a little happy because before we came onto the show, I was looking, and as you know, I mentioned this last week. I put out a PGA package last week. Not last week, but I mean, I put it out on Sportsmemo every week. And I've been doing that for about 2 months now. And I was quite lucky and got Patrick Cantley last week at 22-1. So that was nice. I've had, since I put out those packages, I've had 3 outright winners in those packages. So that's good for me and good for my clients. And I think we were talking a little earlier. My guy that I have at 75-1, if you go to Don_Buster on Twitter, I give out a lot of free plays, and I give out free pizza. I call them pizza long shot picks for the PGA. And Doc Redman was one of my guys. So I don't know. Do you think we could enter the tournament on Thursday and just call him the winner?
I guess I could try to make a call. I know a few people, I guess. But I have the scoreboard right in front of me. Redmond and Dustin, -6. They're finished. They're done for the day. That's a pretty good score on this track from what I'm told.
Mhm.
And Jonathan Vegas, -5. Another Wager Talk guy, Nick Borman, had mentioned that on the show I did with him yesterday, that he was kind of flying under the radar, but in pretty darn good form. And, these type of players now, it's going to make my analysis of the U.S. Open almost impossible. But, that's why we have models, and that's why we love to talk about it. We'll be talking about this all next week. We'll have to do a separate show, Buster, you and me, just for the PGA Tour.
There you go. There you go.
Andy Lee is -4. It's a guy that has not been, seen on the leaderboard in a while.
No, wow.
Tommy Fleetwood, -3.
Yeah, Fleetwood, I almost took him this week too. He was another guy I kind of thought, maybe he's just going to kind of clean up the game a bit, because the major, as these guys will tell you, most of them, Koepka says it all the time, he's just there for the majors, right? So that's why I was kind of surprised he's going out. But I know because of the injury, I think he needs to get a bit of playing rounds in, I would think. But I think we talked about this last week, John, about Torrey Pines. It's going to be very interesting to see if Lightning can strike twice. But we won't want to get into that again. But, I mean, I would love to see Phil show up there and do something. And it's possible. You never know. He's got the confidence now. He knows he can beat these young bucks now, right? That's the thing. When you're 50 and all these young guys are bombing and there's Phil bombing it with them, how good is that? That's great.
I'll tell you the truth. It was pretty emotional for me. I mean, I went beyond goosebumps watching those last 3 holes. And, Koepka was playing with him on 16. I'll never forget this drive. Koepka hits a 351 rocket. And I'm starting to think, oh, boy, this really isn't over yet. And what does Phil do? He basically just blows it by him by 15 yards. It was the longest drive of the event.
Wow. Yeah, I remember him driving by him. I was shocked. Yeah. But, I mean, he was in that zone, right? Like, these guys, they're so good. And when they start getting hot and playing, they could be so good. It's amazing, because if you play, like I know you play golf, John, and I attempt to play. I like the game, but for those guys just to throw darts at the pins from 150 and 140, you're like, how do you do that regularly? I know it's a lot of hard work, and as they say, have a lot of hard work. Whatever you do, you will become successful eventually.
It's so true. I remember my first pro-am I played in. And, I didn't get anybody famous. It was my first one. But I'll tell you the difference. And at this time, I was probably playing a legitimate 2 or 3 handicap.
Nice. Wow.
Guy, I'm not bragging. I'm just putting it in perspective.
Yeah.
Pro I'm playing with is in a bunker and short-sighted himself. Now, if I'm in that bunker, and I remember thinking to myself, well, just get up and down. Well, the way he analyzed it, he was trying to make it and thought he could make it and did, in fact, make it. And that right there, I just stood there and I was like, well, I'm obviously not capable of thinking that I can pull off a shot like that. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So,
and every shot's under pressure. I mean, pressure is something you get used to. I'm sure on the tour, you get used to people walking around, and I'm sure Bryson's getting used to being called Brooks now on tour. So you probably should take it as a compliment, maybe, and just laugh it off.
That's going to be an interesting little showdown that they have with Brady and Rogers. That'll be with Bryson. I know Koepka's not playing, but I mean with Bryson is playing. I think
I can't wait.
Phil and Bryson against
Phil and Tom Brady.
Rogers. Oh, okay. Yeah,
and Aaron Rodgers and Bryson.
And Bryson, yeah. So that'll be good little entertainment to have a couple pops and watch, I guess.
Even if he doesn't win the U.S. Open, and speaking of Phil, you have Bryson coming off a U.S. Open, and you have Phil coming off the most recent PGA, and you got 2 of the most polarizing quarterbacks to probably ever play the game in our lifetime. So it can't help but to get tremendous viewership.
Yes, tremendous viewership, yeah. And I know we're on golf here, but just a quick thought. What do you think about this Rogers? He didn't show up for mandatory workout there, so that's probably telling you something. I'm sure you guys have discussed this on your Man Eats Pub, but
it'll be discussed this afternoon for the first time. I've been. I
see we got maybe a couple more minutes here, so I thought I'd just bring that up.
Yeah, I've been in denial about bringing it up on the show because I know there's one certain co-host in Tony Finn that I know is going to express opinions that, maybe you should be happy you have a job, Aaron, type of thing. And I want to speak for Tony. Better yet, you should just show up. If you're listening to this, show up at 4:15 today and enjoy because it gets pretty funny. But at the same time, you come away with a lot of great sports betting knowledge from those guys. Yeah. But personally, I'll tell you, Don, I don't have any patience for it. We had, I'll give you an example. We had John Rahm last week, 6-shot lead in a PGA Tour event, comes up with COVID-19, gets disqualified. He walks away with no money. He would have won the event. I can't imagine him pulling a Greg Norman at the Masters when Nick Faldo overcame him.
Yeah. Was it
and
6
blowing it,
strokes
right?
or something, I think?
Yeah, it was 6.
Yeah.
And that was 1.6 million up in smoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now you're telling me that a guy who's probably made close to 500 million in his career, I guess, salary. I'm just guessing.
It's not about the money for him anymore. That's for sure.
I mean, you can't show up and just at least go through the motions or something. Like, why must he tear the team apart? Because that's what's going to happen.
Well, that is what's happening. That's not it is what's happening. So, there should have, again, we'll never know all the little nuances that go on between coaches and GMs and whatever. But truthfully, for me, it almost looks like Green Bay has kind of dissed him a bit. You know what I mean, with their draft choices. But I mean, again, those guys are a lot smarter than me. That's for sure on who they draft and whatever. But you got to keep your superstar happy, and he could be a superstar somewhere else. And everybody's talking Denver, so I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know what the cap space and all those other things are all about. But it's good. It makes it for I guess the NFL always has to have something because they're always in the limelight regardless. It doesn't matter what part of the season we're in. NFL's number one. So having a big story with NFL, that's probably helps. So.
Oh, there's a age we live in. That's why the Brooks Koepka DeChambeau is so intriguing. That I actually have a poll on my Twitter feed to see how many votes we can get in 7 days. Just to get a feel.
I'll go on there and I'll go on there and retweet that too, and so get some people out there to vote. That's for sure.
And I intentionally made Bryson a 135 matchup favorite just to drive some people nuts.
Okay.
I honestly think it is probably minus 110, but I just wanted to add a little juice to it.
Yeah, there you go.
But
it makes people's decision maybe a little different.
Yeah, it's all fun.
Yeah.
But lastly, Buster, anything you want to leave us with? Final thoughts? Any big plays? Your 5%er goes tonight, so everybody make sure you get over there and get that play. You can also buy it guaranteed. And that's exactly what it is. If it loses, you get compensated with the wage. Well, I guess it is technically wager bucks, and you can get to use that refund to buy other picks. And you get to buy a subscription from Buster would be your best bet. Just buy one pick and then make the mistake of judging somebody because it lost.
Yeah.
It's like evaluating me last night winning that under when we were all sweating bullets, and I was sweating so badly I would have melted the ice at the Golden Knights, hockey rink. I'm telling you, I just was like, oh no. It worked out.
Yeah, and you see that in the NBA a lot of times this year. I've had a couple unders where that's actually happened. And next thing you know, you think, did they just score 25 points in 2.5 or 3 minutes? Ridiculous stuff that happens sometimes. And that's the NBA's tough. But obviously right now we both have our systems and what we're doing, and it's been working for us. So keep up that good luck with the NBA, John. And hopefully you'll have another good night. And hopefully as long as you're not against me on my play tonight, good luck. If you are, well then against me, then bad luck, I guess.
Well, then, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We can flip a coin for another bottle of tequila.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks
John,
for being on.
thanks
Thanks for
having
being on
me.
the show with me, Buster. Always. Buster will be on here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Will be his slot, and you can count on him being there. Yeah. All these shows now are going to have specific time slots, so you can plan your day. You can plan the calendar. You don't have to wonder like, oh, gee, when is Buster going to come on again? Now you know. He'll appear at Manny's Pub, which is airing anywhere between 4 and 4:15, Monday through Friday. That is myself, my co-hosts, Tony Finn and Rob Vino at Wager Talk, and then a whole bunch of guests that are, they're just so much fun to be around. It's just like when Buster comes on, we just have a blast, and it's just a lot of fun. It's like guys being in the pub. Yeah, we're having pints, and then we're just picking each other's brain and learning from each other and coming up with really good bets for everyone.
It really, you know what, John? I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to promote your show, but I am because I think you should go over there. And I'll tell you right now, myself, I am not one of these guys that bet props and bet, player props and stuff like that. I'm just, you're over, under, first half, whatever. But on this show, I actually was going to come in for a half hour, so end up staying for like an hour and a half. But it's like you say, you jump in, and people that are watching, you can come in, get our free plays, and leave, or watch and learn a little bit. But Tony, the two Tonys, we're talking about Seth Curry with his over points and that. I went in through a couple $100 on both those on more than 3-pointers, and they both hit. I think it was the first quarter they were both winners. So there's some nice plays that even a guy like myself would normally not play that I've I see guys in the hockey now been doing a little bit of prop stuff. It's becoming really big. I know there's a lot of guys that just do props. So I might add a little bit of that. It's not really my thing, but I'll play the odd one. I probably won't put them out to customers. So you're better off going into Manny's Pub and getting all those little tidbits on basketball and hockey props. So no doubt. It makes it a lot of fun. I'm doing the same thing. And, a lot of those picks, you're right. They sometimes win before the beginning of the second quarter. Yeah, so, that was nice on Tuesday night. That's for sure. Yeah, it sure was. Nice not having to sweat one out like you did last night, right, John? Yeah, hopefully I won't have to sweat tonight. But after we conclude the recording here, we'll see who you are on, and I will share who I am on. There you go. And we'll take it from there. Hopefully two minds think alike. I think they will. I have a pretty good feeling they will. Again, Buster, thanks for being part of this. And then on behalf of the Predictive Playbook, Sportsmemo, and WagerTalk.com, may all the wins be yours.